It's Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
I'm Hope Madden.
This is It's Movie Time. And it's January.
It is.
Well, now, Ben Affleck, big director,
Yes.
actor in Hollywood, is putting out a film in January? Does this tell me anything, Hope, or how do you respond to that?
Well, you know, it did open select theaters early enough for Oscar consideration.
You bet.
But I don't think it's a contender.
Oh, right. Tell me why.
You know, he is a very solid director. And, you know, Gone Baby Gone actually is my favorite of his films. I thought it was just beautiful, just brilliantly done. And then
Another Dennis Lehane.
Then he did The Town, which was great and showed, I think, that he could really shoot an action sequence well.
Yep.
And then, of course, Argo was just amazing, and you know, the scope of it. It was such a big project for a director, and he just mastered it. So I was very excited to see this. For me, in the last two of his films, the only major weakness was his performance. I am not a big fan of Ben Affleck, the actor. And, you know, and it's funny, and I watched this movie, and I liked it well enough, and then I saw in the credits at the end that Leonardo DiCaprio was a producer.
He was a producer.
And I thought, immediately, how much better would this film have been if he'd been the star? Way better.
Well, he's playing a Prohibition era, 1920s gangster, even though his character would disavow the term.
Sure.
Until toward the end of the film, largely because he didn't want to belong to the organization. He's sure acting like a petty crook through being a gangster.
Yeah, Irish Joe. And he runs afoul of the Irish mob in Boston. So he kind of hooks up with the Italian mob in Boston, and they send him to South Florida to take over the rum running and also set up a casino.
Well, you know, you brought up a couple of things to my mind. One, I fully agree, and my major complaint with this film is the actor himself. I think he's just doing an extension of the accountant. I mean, it is absolutely passionless performance. I know what he's doing, and I realize he's minimalizing his role. But if I counted the number of close-up shots of him, and then shots of him with his two ladies, I said, way too much. Enough, please.
You know, I think not only that, I mean, to the benefit of the film, all of the minor characters are fascinating.
Aren't they great?
And stocked with really, really talented actors, right? Sienna Miller is great. Brendan Gleeson, always welcome.
Oh,
Chris Cooper, always wonderful. Elle Fanning was amazing. She's so talented.
R.D. Pruitt, over the top.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and they were so much, the performances were so much better, and the characters themselves were so much more interesting that he stood out as just like a bland old big thumb in the middle of everything.
Exactly. And I think if you look at the publicity shots, you look at everything, it's all centered on him. I mean, I really think that he went overboard with himself.
I agree.
And he's not a great actor. I agree. He's a fine director.
He is. Yeah. I just don't think he has much range, and more importantly, for a film like this, where it's a little over 2 hours long, and he is so much the center of it, he does not have the charisma to carry it.
Yeah, he doesn't have the range, because one of the challenges of this film is, while he's a bad guy, he's also a good guy.
Right. There's a lot of internal conflict. And he just can't pull it off.
Right. Exactly.
He just can't.
Yeah, I know that's so true. Now, number two. Do you think perhaps he got out of Beantown and went down to Florida, and that was a mistake?
I don't know. You know, I thought that while I did think that the film is a bit slow.
Yeah, it is.
It looks gorgeous.
Yeah. And
there are some shots that are maybe unnecessary for the narrative, but they looked beautiful, of, you know, cars passing and these long vistas. I mean, I think he did a nice job with the location itself.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, he got carried away to the degree that I think he couldn't keep an interesting pace.
And don't you think that he's much more frenetic and much more exciting in Boston, an area where he lives? I guess I was thinking that we lost some of that
urgency.
Yes.
I think definitely. But when he goes down south, the whole film gets very slow. and I think that might have been intentional, but again, I think it affected the pace of the film. I mean, it's a little over 2 hours, but it feels longer than that.
And you know, there are some things that I think are mistaken. For instance, to throw us into his love affair with the mobster's wife immediately, what I thought was, for me, way too much. Sienna Miller, who does a really great job.
She does.
Lucy.
She does.
Holy.
You know what, Sienna Miller, she's fascinating because I almost never recognize her in, and that's really true. You know, sometimes she in this movie, the whole time I kept thinking, somebody give her a sandwich. She's so small and spunky and wrong, you know, but in other films, she just really metamorphosizes, I think, from film to film, and she does a great job in this.
Yeah, and you mentioned somebody else who's a favorite of mine, Brendan Gleeson.
Oh, I love him.
And way not enough of him
Agreed.
at all.
Agreed.
And when he's on, you understand
Mm-hmm.
depth of acting
Yeah.
that guy can have. And there are things, Hope, that I thought were wasted. Maybe the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
What is this all about in his film? Thinking about there's so many parts to the film.
It's true.
That he can't put together gracefully. I thought the KKK, I'm just thinking about the scene with the leader in the KKK.
Sure.
And where that goes.
I know, and it's interesting because that scene in and of itself is interesting and well punctuated, but then it doesn't lead to anything.
It doesn't go anywhere,
Like,
exactly.
oh, and then bam, the KKK is taken care of. Was it that easy? I wish more people would know how to. I'm pretty sure they're fairly entrenched in the South.
And it reminded me of the much better scenes in, say, The Godfather,
Yeah.
where you would have a setup like that.
Absolutely.
Boy, oh boy.
No question. And I kind of think that's what he was going for, that sweeping generational gangster epic of, and you know, falls short, certainly.
Yeah.
He's no Al Pacino.
No, he isn't. And when you think of what Tony Montana is it? When you think of some of these goons like Scarface,
Sure.
and you see how powerful, and even way back to Cagney,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that power. I don't have that tenseness. I don't have it.
No, he doesn't have a fire in his belly at all. He's just kind of floating through life.
Well, Hope, man, the film is Live by Night.
Mm-hmm.
It is Ben Affleck's movie.
It is.
We are both agreed he's a fine director. This is his fourth film, the weakest of the four.
Definitely.
Doesn't mean he doesn't have a great future.
Mm-hmm.
It just means that this is January and they call it the dump ground.
It's true.
So it is good. Now, next week we're going to see Split. Who knows?
I know. I'm torn. I'm cautiously optimistic, but no.
Well, Hope, what grade would you award Live by Night?
B-.
Okay. And I'm awarding it a C. And I would say that from the two of us agreeing on his potential and the beautiful production values of this film.
He just needs to maybe audition for different leads.